If you could sit down with the top cardiologists in the world, what would you ask them? Heart disease is the number one killer of men in the world. And recently I sat down with Dr. Jack Wolfson, who is the top natural cardiologist in the world. He's a second generation cardiologist and has been at the forefront of cardiology for over 40 years. The man has been called the paleo-cardiologist because of his preference in diet. Dr. Jack has so much to share with the world. It's unreal. And he is still sharing all the time on his podcast as well as on others. Guys, I would love to tell you precisely what you're going to learn, but there is so much in this one episode that I can't even begin to list it off. So grab your pen and paper, get ready to take some notes. Dr. Jack is going to step on some toes. He's going to offend some of the norms and some of the quote unquote status quo. But I promise you want to hear what he has to say about your heart health. Check out this thought from Dr. Jack. It's not what you would think from a heart doctor. And let's get into it.
Question everything and always fight for the freedom to question everything.
Here's the $1 million question. How do men like us reach our full potential, grow into the men we dream of being, while taking care of our responsibilities, working, being good husbands, fathers, and still take care of ourselves? Well, that's the big question. In this podcast, we'll help you answer those questions and more. My name is Brent, and welcome to the Fallible Man Podcast. Welcome to the Fallible Man Podcast, your home for all things man, husband, and father. Big shout out to Fallible Nation. That's our longtime listeners, and we'd love to have you become part of that. And a warm welcome to our first-time listeners. We know there's a lot out there competing for your attention, so we appreciate you taking the time to check us out today. Be sure and connect with me at the Fallible Man on most social media platforms, especially Instagram. That's my preferred platform. Let me know what you thought of the show. And if you really enjoy it, be sure and share it with a friend who needs to hear it. And hey, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts if you think we did a good job. That helps us reach more people. My name is Brent. Today, my guest is board-certified cardiologist, the nation's #1 natural health heart doctor, Dr. Jack Wolfson. Dr. Jack, welcome to the Fallible Man Podcast.
Thanks so much, Brent. Pleasure to be on, and excited to share some good information and my thoughts on what's going on in this crazy world.
Now, Dr. Jack, we start pretty light, so how's your trivia skills?
They're pretty good, okay. I guess. I think so. I usually beat my kids, so but they're 16, 11, 6, and 3, and they don't go to school, so presumably I'll beat them at trivia.
I don't know. We'll see on this one. I understood in my research that you were a big family man, so I've got a Harry Potter trivia question for you. And if you guys are listening, you didn't see the look on his face. Apparently, this is not the subject. Which of the following joke items was not listed as a name item banned by Filch in book 4? Is it fanged frisbees, the ever-bashing boomerangs, stink pellets, or screaming yo-yos?
I do not have a clue, my friend. I did see like the first movie, and I wish my 16-year-old was here because he read some of the Harry Potter books years ago, but you got me totally stumped.
Want to make a guess?
No.
All right, guys, you know the rules. Don't look it up. Don't cheat. I did have to look that one up, so that's not off the top of my head. I have the full Harry Potter trivia because my kids think that it's cool, and until we try to answer the questions, then we find out we don't know. But we'll get back to that later. Now, Dr. Jack, I don't do huge introductions. No one cares about all of that. In your own words today, in this moment, who is Dr. Jack Wolfson?
Dr. Jack Wolfson is a husband. He's a father of 4. He is also a rancher with 6 goats and 5 chickens and a dog and more chickens and goats and animals on the way. He is a radical. He is unafraid to take on establishment in any facet, in any kind. I am a freedom fighter, freedom lover. We have certain unalienable rights as given us by our creator. And the government needs to stay out of those. So I think I could probably go on and on and on about various things about me, But I'm a truth teller. I'm a freedom seeker. You want to poison your body, you want to poison your kids, I guess that's up to you. I have to be a freedom guy. I happen to think most things that are done to children are child abuse in one way, shape, or form, when it comes to food, when it comes to pharmaceuticals, when it comes to the lifestyle that most people give their children. Again, I'm not afraid to say it.
It's your best dad joke.
Best dad joke. Oh God. That's a tough one too, man. You're pretty good with the stumps. I mean, I know that my boys love to make fun of me all the time. They like make the fun of me, working. They like to make fun of that my oldest son is that he's taller than me. They're both better mountain bikers than me now. Yeah. What else? They say that I'm fat. Some other stuff, whatever. But those are all jokes on me. But that's about all I got.
Well, if you think one, you can throw it out later. What's the worst song ever produced?
That answer is "We Built This City" by Starship.
All right, I'll take it. Batman or Superman?
Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's a good one. That is a really good one. Christopher Reeve and the Superman movies, all things said and done, that's right in my wheelhouse, when I was a kid. So I'm gonna have to go with Superman, but I do love I love Christian Bale and all the Batman stuff. And again, I'm a child of the '70s and the reruns, so I remember all the Batman stuff. From the 1960s. So Adam West and Burt Ward.
It's funny because women don't understand what a polarizing question that is for men.
Yeah, that's a. I mean, I think if you also said like Marvel or DC, like where would we go? With that. Who's your favorite character in that universe? What's the best movie out of all of them? I would say Guardians of the Galaxy is the best movie. Again, like the humor and the storyline behind it, the music behind it. You talk about music, as well. Just some great music from the 1970s on that. And one of my best friends from undergrad, I went to University of Illinois in Champaign, Illinois. One of my best friends from back in the day, his son was the child in the opening scene when he played the young Star-Lord when his mother was dying of cancer. That was my buddy's son. So that's my connection to greatness there.
That's very cool. I don't know if that's your connection to greatness, but it's certainly cool. What purchase of $100 or less have you made in the last year that's had the biggest impact on your life?
Wow. So many things. I mean, you mentioned $100. We literally paid $100 for each of the 6 goats that we bought. So in order to expedite that conversation, I will leave it at that. I will say that I did buy a pocket knife and it's my first time ever carrying a pocket knife. And I love it. It's just the utility of that. Now it also does have a bottle opener. Not that I open up a lot of bottles, but having like that utility knife on the good old bat belt, it's helpful.
All right. Cereal. Is it a soup?
I don't eat much cereal, my friend. But is it a soup? I've never thought of it as a soup. And I would say no, because I like really hard crunch. If I was going to eat cereal, it would always be something with extreme crunch. So when I make my own cereal, sometimes it's coconut flakes, raw cacao nibs. I'll put some nuts and seeds in there and use preferably raw dairy would be the milk portion of it. And that would be like that crunch factor. When I think about soup, I don't think about crunch.
Did you hear that? That was the sound of demonetization. You said raw dairy. Oh, people are so weird these days. Dr. Jack, if I was to sit down at your dinner table, what story would your family tell to try and embarrass you?
I say again, what story would
Would your family
what story
tell
would
to
my
embarrass you?
family tell to try and embarrass me? Um, I mean, it certainly depends on which family member is there. My mother would have a different story. My wife would have a different story. My children would have a different story regarding embarrassment. But because my boys would definitely talk about different mountain bike things that I would do. Like if I try and go off a jump and I go flying off the handlebars, that's what they would say there. My wife would have different stories that are a little bit more R rated. That I guess, I mean, if this show is catered to adults, kind of like getting busted together in a department store changing room. That was an embarrassing thing. So yeah, now that I think about it, I'll go with that.
I love it. I love it. Dr. Jack, what is something everybody needs to know about you before we dive into today's show?
Everybody needs to know that although I am very candid and outspoken and appear fearless at times, I have the same fears and concerns that everybody else does. And I've talked to over 40,000 people in my professional career. I've heard every single story in every single way. And although oftentimes I'm not kind of confessing things that have happened to me and putting my, personal self into these things that, really, we all have the same struggles. We all have the same struggles, the same fears, the same concerns. And talking about them, I think, is very important. I think that we all have opinions these days, and we should listen to other people's opinions, and we should not be afraid to give our opinions. But conversation is critical. The freedom to have these conversations is also paramount because, freedom of speech, I believe it's a God-given right. It's in the Bill of Rights, First Amendment, of course, freedom of speech. Many different freedoms are guaranteed in the Constitution, and I think we should continue to abide and uphold those.
All right. Guys, we've been getting to know Dr. Jack just a little bit in this part of the show, digging into who he is. In the next part of the show, we're going to dive into men's health. We're going to roll our sponsor, and we'll be right back with more from Dr. Jack Wolfson. Are you tired of tossing and turning at night, searching for that elusive perfect pillow, or just better bedding in general? Well, look no further. Our podcast is proudly sponsored by MyPillow, the renowned American pillow manufacturer. With over 50 million pillows sold and a legacy of quality, MyPillow knows that you work hard for your money and want quality products at an affordable price. That's why they're offering all TFM listeners and friends the special promo code for massive savings year-round. Enjoy some of the finest sheets, pillows, slippers, mattress toppers, bath towels, and comforters on the market today. Save big when you order with free promo code TFM. That's TFM, the Fallible Man podcast, obviously, on all 250 quality American products at MyPillow. MyPillow is here to transform your sleep experience. And as a special treat for our listeners, you can enjoy up to 80% off your order with the code TFM. Yes, you heard that right, up to 80% off. You'll not only enjoy some of the most comfortable and cozy products you've ever bought, but also support a great American company, the Fallible Man podcast, and save a ton of money doing it. It's really a triple win. So why wait? Head over to mypillow.com/TFM or call 800-796-9775. That's 800-796-9775 to order now. You can't be your best without a good night's sleep, and MyPillow delivers. Guys, welcome back. In the first part of the show, we spent some time just getting to know who Dr. Jack is. In this part of the show, we're going to start diving into men's health because I'm not going to pass up the chance to talk to a man with this kind of medical qualifications. Now, Dr. Jack, we didn't touch on it really big. Like I said, I'm not big into accolades and stuff, but you are an expert in your field and then some. Tell us a little bit about you and your practice before we get into the rest of this.
Yeah, I mean, just so everyone knows, I like to say that I was born a cardiologist. My father was a cardiologist, so in the womb, I would hear what he was talking about. As a child, I would hear what he was talking about, and I would follow in his footsteps. And when I was graduating from my cardiology program at the age of 31, my life was amazing. All things were going well, but unfortunately for him, his life was not going so well. He became sick with a Parkinson's like illness. He was eventually diagnosed with a disease called progressive supranuclear palsy at the Mayo Clinic. And the Mayo Clinic had no idea why he was sick, and they had no treatment for him. And they said he'll be dead within 3 years. And he would die within 3 years. But simultaneously and serendipitously, I met the woman who would become my wife. And she is a doctor of chiropractic at DC. And she told me exactly why my father was sick and dying. And she said, it's the way he eats, the way that he lives, all the environmental toxins, all the poisons. That's why your father's sick and dying. And what she said made perfect sense. Number one, Mayo Clinic had no idea. And again, but so it made, I saw sickness all around me, my father, all the patients, all the things like that. And I also listened to this woman because she was smoking hot. So, that made a lot of sense to me as well. So I would start to change. I would start to change the way that I lived, the way that I acted, the way that I ate. And like I said, my father would die, but his death is not in vain. It created the man that I am today. And that's, a lot of that backstory. I would eventually leave the biggest group in the state of Arizona, start my own practice, natural heart doctor, and just trying to, save men and women from the catastrophe of the medical system. God bless the men and women who work in emergency rooms and trauma centers, but for the prevention, treatment, reversal of chronic disease, the medical system has nothing, and it's sad, it's unfortunate, but it's the reality we live in right now, and I'm trying to change it.
That actually leads perfectly into my next question, because the last few years have brought out some concerns, some confusion for a lot of people. Can we trust the system? Is pharma calling the shots? Is insurance companies saying what should happen? I mean, in your opinion, give us a state of the union on the current healthcare system.
Yeah, the state of the union of the current healthcare system is that it's a total disaster. It's all about pharmaceuticals. It's all about surgeries, and it's all about money. It is so financially driven that the whole system is totally destroyed. Again, they're great in emergencies. They're great for broken bones. They're great for traumas. If you need open heart surgery, then it's a great place to be. What happened to your father, Brent, where there's an emergency situation again, and that's, there's, God bless them, for the emergencies. But how do we prevent that? We're not going to prevent that with pharmaceuticals. We're not going to prevent that with tests. We're going to prevent that with eat well, live well, think well, and test, don't guess, and evidence-based supplements and biohacking strategies, what I call the 100-year heart method. That's how we're going to do it. Since the early 1900s, the Rockefeller Institute, the Flexner report, they basically destroyed the entire holistic medical system. It became pharma-driven. Lipitor is the number one selling drug of all time, hundreds of billions of dollars in revenue, and the drug is a total sham. And then, of course, the last coming up on 4 years right now was just a tragedy on so many different levels. What it did to the economy, what it did now currently with hyperinflation, what it did to families, ultimately what it did to the health of people. We're just starting to scratch the surface on the problems of what happened. And the focus should have always been on how to build the body up naturally, preventive strategies naturally, of which there are many. And I will say that Anthony Fauci is probably the dirtiest medical doctor that's ever lived.
I'd shout amen, but I'm sure that would seem sacrilegious at the moment. Dr. Jack, heart disease has been the number one killer in the U.S. I have this weird fascination with reports. And so I look at the yearly mortality report that is it Princeton or Harvard? One of them has one they put out every single year and have forever. And heart disease has been like the number one killer for years and years and years. Why is it still a threat? That's what I want to know. With modern medicine, right? We're supposedly have like the best healthcare system in the world. Why is heart disease always the top of the list?
We don't do anything that addresses cardiovascular disease prevention. We don't talk about the right foods. We don't talk about the right lifestyle. We don't talk about the right thought processes, what we call eat well, live well, think well. The medical doctors are trained in pharmaceuticals and surgeries. So we are where we are, and it's an extremely lucrative business for the pharma hospital insurance complex. It's incredible that the hundreds of billions of dollars that are spent in that area of the pharmaceuticals for blood pressure, for cholesterol, the stents and bypass surgeries, the testing that's done, stress tests and ultrasounds and CT scans and MRIs, the pacemakers, defibrillators. Like, this is mega industry, and the pharma cartel is very powerful. It's not as powerful as the military cartel, and certainly not as the banking cartel, but it's up there. It's up there. And I think that the last 4 years was just pure money grab, with just trillions of wasted, made up things. I mean, again, it's not like the government printed anything. They just pressed buttons and created currency to give to corporations is what it was. And we're going to continue to suffer the consequences. And we are not even near as bad as the situation's going to get. I don't want to be, fatalistic, and I don't want to be a total doomsdayer on this, but I don't think things are going in the right direction. And the other final thing I'll say about this is that in 2019, in October, there was a gathering in the World Economic Forum, along with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, where they talked about a coming pandemic. And this was their pandemic preparedness discussion and gatherings in October of 2019. And then 3 months later, they announced COVID. Now the World Health Organization, in conjunction with the others that I aforementioned, they are talking about disease X. And disease X will be 10 times worse than COVID was. The devil is telling us the script. And if you think that it won't happen, it just happened. It just happened. And it's going to happen again. So you better be prepared for it. Now, how you can prepare for that is the subject of another discussion.
Since we're already down the rabbit hole some, ironically, at the same time the meeting was going on, a whistleblower from China was trying to blow the lid off the disease that was already starting to spread through Wuhan at that time. I watched a lot of international news. I was online watching him do a live stream trying to blow the whistle on this when the police kicked down his door and drug him out. He was the first whistleblower on that. And lo and behold, months later, here it is. But yeah, now I'm actually very familiar with that meeting. I get called crazy a lot by some of my friends. It's like, no, just y'all are uninformed. There's a difference.
Well, let me say one thing about that, Brent, is that this goes back to the freedom story. We have to be free to have these discussions, because it's just a fundamental need. It's a fundamental right. If you block the freedom to have these discussions, that's what leads to totalitarianism, authoritarianism, authoritarians. That's what it leads to. So again, if you don't have these abilities to ask these questions, how do you ever know what the truth is? So you have to. So these conspiracies, sometimes it turns out that the conspiracies are true. Now, where this, what COVID was, where it came from, lots of speculation, lots of different possibilities, but let's discuss all the different possibilities. Just because CNN tells us that it came from bat soup in Wuhan, China, doesn't necessarily mean that it is true or there is actually anything. And how many people are dying and what are they dying from? Just let's have these discussions. And if you're going to sit there and watch mainstream media and swallow it as the truth, good luck. Good luck. But I think we should question everything and have the freedom to question everything, whether it's at the Thanksgiving dinner, at church, at synagogue, in the workspace, online. Let's just have a public discourse.
If you aren't questioning anything CNN airs, you're already in a bad way. Sorry.
Everybody. I mean, question everything. Don't trust anybody necessarily, and entertain all thoughts, and be intelligent and formulate your own opinions. But I mean, and I think, really to go back to, and I'm not trying to play partisan politics here, but unfortunately, Trump knew this was a joke right from the beginning, and somehow, some way, his opinion changed, on it, and all of a sudden it became, warp speed, and he went along with, lockdowns and stuff like that. And, if I've never met him personally, but if I did, I would certainly ask him. I'd be like, dude,
he trusted the wrong people.
Yeah. Yeah. Or who knows? Maybe someone had a gun to his head and said, listen, this is how it's going down. This is what you're going to say, or you and your entire family are dead. We killed, John F. Kennedy. We killed Bobby Kennedy. We've killed a lot of people. We'll kill you.
Yeah. That's serious.
Oh, that's crazy talk. That's crazy talk.
No.
The one of the writers for the Washington Post, I think his name is Robinson is his last name. Eugene Robinson is his name. So he questions Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s motives, and he says, Robert F. Kennedy thinks the CIA killed his uncle and his father. Get a grip, Bobby Kennedy Jr. Lee Harvey Oswald killed your father. Yeah. Oh, that's it. That's it. Lee Harvey Oswald, he kills the president all by himself. This guy kills him, and then 2 days later, he's killed by Jack Ruby, and then Jack Ruby dies 3 weeks later of cancer. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. How could it possibly be the CIA? How could anybody want to have killed John F. Kennedy because he wanted to keep the United States out of Vietnam?
Am I the only one?
He actually wanted to make peace with the Russians. How could anyone else think otherwise?
Am I the only one who actually listened to the congressional hearing last year when the CIA openly admitted on record that they killed Kennedy? Am I the only one who actually listened to that hearing last year? Because the CIA openly admitted that they killed Kennedy in a congressional hearing last year. Just plain as that, yeah, we killed him.
So, so that sense, I mean, with that kind of, with that stuff going on in the world, it really helps to explain everything about what's going on. Again, you follow the money, of the pharma, you follow the money of the military complex, you follow, the banking. And ultimately, you hope you're in a situation where you can do something about it because you've been forewarned and you know that it's coming. So, I'll tell you right now, if you don't have 3 months of food and water stored away, and power, electricity, gasoline, depending on where you live, if you're not prepared, you're pretty stupid. You're absolutely clueless. And I'm hoping for the best. I hope this like never happens again. I don't want to see people suffer, like they did. But you hope for the best, but you prepare for the worst. Simple as that. If you're not prepared, I mean, again, if you don't just see what just happened, and personally, I care less about toilet paper. I don't care if I have toilet paper or not. That don't mean nothing to me. I'm not going to live on toilet paper. But I need food. I need water. If I'm in a cold environment, I need shelter where I'm not going to freeze to death, and neither will my family. So this, this country and every country could be in total anarchy within minutes. Within minutes, they shut down the power. They cause a financial crash. They talk about some, virus. It'll be pandemonium before you know it. Be prepared, people.
My sister-in-law and my wife were passing a meme back and forth, both laughing. I was like, what is it? And my wife showed me, and it was a shot from Mad Max. And it says, it was, and a woman obviously put it together. It was, when you start evaluating your husband's capability of apocalyptic warlord or not in their attractiveness. I was like, yeah, no, I get that at this point. Life's a little, it hasn't taken long. Like, the world is just coming unglued these days.
Yeah. I'm not saying you got to be the, Mad Max or be trained or, again, who's going to survive that the best? It's the, Green Beret. It's the, Navy SEAL. It's not Jack Wolfson. I'm the son of a cardiologist who became a cardiologist, and I'm not that person you want in the zombie apocalypse. But I'll do my best. I'll prepare myself the best and survive for as long as anybody can. But
hey,
we'll see.
Needs a good doctor.
Yeah,
right?
True.
Doctors are going to be really valuable at that time point.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Did you see it was breaking news? I want to say today. So, if you guys are listening to this was recorded a couple months before this came out. You'll have to tell me how this came out in a couple months, guys, when this airs. Breaking news today: avian flu transferred from animal to man in Texas. Some sick animal or whatever, some hunter, and apparently they're having an outbreak of avian flu starting in Texas. It's like, must be 2024. We're heading back to an election year. Things have got to go south.
Yeah. And I'll use this opportunity to say, listen, don't be afraid of viruses or bacteria, fungus. That's all the germ theory. But when the germ theory was developed at the time of, Pasteur, and others, there were just as many doctors there who said it's not the germ, it's the host. And what you have to focus on, whether it's cardiovascular disease, brain disease, cancer, immune disease, is you have to focus on being a strong host. And you become a strong host when you eat well, live well, think well. When you eat the right foods, such as free-range grass-fed meats, nose to tail, preferably organs, preferably from unvaccinated bison. You eat wild seafood, salmon, sardines, anchovy, mackerel, even tuna, clams, oysters, shrimp, lobster, crab, on and on, eggs, raw dairy. You eat all organic food. You keep the poison out of your food. Keep your alcohol to a minimum. If you like coffee, drink organic coffee. Again, keep the chemicals out of your life. That's how you become bulletproof from a food standpoint. From a lifestyle standpoint, you get sun, you get sleep, you get physical activity and movement. You avoid environmental toxins, plastics, phthalates, parabens, PVCs, VOCs, pesticides, herbicides, insecticides. Make sure your home doesn't have any water damage leading to mold and bacteria exposure, which is very, very horrific, which many, many, many people suffer from, and medical system doesn't have a clue. Holistic dentistry, chiropractic care, and then make sure that you're thinking well. Make sure you find your happiness. Are you happy in your job, happy in your relationships? Are you in alignment with God? Do you have a sense of community? Do you have a sense of purpose, gratitude? Those are all critical factors, and there is no microscopic alleged virus that is going to defeat the bulletproof man.
So you mentioned coffee. Did I see you have your own coffee line?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. All organic, I assume then.
Organic, glyphosate free, and then also mold mycotoxin free. And I created it called Cardiology Coffee because I wanted people to understand that coffee is heart healthy, and the evidence supports that. A lot of times people go to the medical doctor and the doctor tells them to stop drinking coffee. Meanwhile, they're drinking coffee, but they should tell you to stop drinking coffee. And there are a lot of medical benefits to it. Now, if you don't feel well when you drink coffee, then don't drink coffee. I'm not pushing people to drink coffee, but if you like coffee, like I do, then you should drink it, but just make sure you drink the good stuff.
I found the medical community to be full of irony. I worked at a nursing home for a time as a maintenance guy when I was younger, and I was amazed at how many healthcare people smoke. I was like, wait, you're all nurses and like CNAs and LPNs and 99% of the staff smoked. I was like, that seems a little ironic. Just saying, right?
Well, it used to be a lot worse. I mean, certainly it used to be a lot worse, and the tobacco use of that population of people has come down with the rest of society. Although I think it is on the uptick, with teenagers and 20 somethings, and I think this whole vaping and e-cigarette disaster is obviously a disaster, like I said, to be redundant. But as far as the medical people, yeah, I mean, you don't go to medical people looking for preventive strategies. You don't ask a medical doctor about nutrition or lifestyle or healthy thought processes. Like that doesn't happen yet. It's all very clear in the medical literature: the importance of eating the right foods, avoiding the wrong foods, living the right lifestyle, thinking the right thoughts. My psychology, my psychiatry rotations were all about pharmaceuticals. They were not all about what could we do to promote emotional mental wellness. It was all about how do we pharmaceuticalize? How do we treat with pharmaceuticals based on conditions people have? You're depressed, here's your pharmaceutical. You're stressed out, here's your pharmaceutical. You've got anxiety, here's your pharmaceutical. It's a horrific model that I took a big part of for 16 years.
So lifestyle is important as far as like your family relationships, your work satisfaction, that plays into our overall health.
1,000%. Now, I will say this. I think that our genetics are perfect. I think we are genetically built perfect, of course, in the image of God. And our genes are perfect. Why wouldn't they be perfect? We can run and jump and see and feel and make babies. We can do some pretty amazing stuff. Why would we be genetically programmed to get sick? We're not. Everything is the concept of epigenetics, above the genetics. How the man-made environment, how our lifestyle impacts and interacts with our genes gives us disease. So people may have a family genetic predisposition, but these, again, have to be activated by the violations of eat well, live well, think well. That's what's doing it. But nobody's programmed to have heart attacks or strokes or cancer. It's all man-made. And I'm going to blame the men on this one because the men made up most of the chemicals, not the women. It's kind of the man's fault.
Sorry, I was making notes as we went. Guys, we've been discussing some men's health and the happenings of the world today, all the craziness, getting it from a cardiologist perspective and understanding that the world sometimes is outside of our control in a huge way, but we have the ability to take care of us. So the next segment of the show, we're going to dive into eat well, think well, live well. Our sponsor will be right back with more from Dr. Jack Wolfson. Struggling to catch quality Z's at night? It's time to change that narrative. Sleep isn't just a luxury. It's the crucial component for your overall well-being. From managing your weight to boosting muscle growth, reducing stress, and even enhancing your daily performance, sleep plays a vital role. Are you ready to level up your sleep game, get a better night's sleep overall? Then look no further than ghostbed.com. Join me in experiencing the difference with GhostBed. It's been a game changer for my sleep routine over the years. That's why here at the Fallible Man podcast, we're honored to partner with our sponsor, ghostbed.com, to bring you this discount. So head to ghostbed.com, unlock a sweet 30% discount on your order using the code Fallible. Don't wait any longer to upgrade your sleep quality. Let's make tonight the start of a better sleep and a better days ahead. Now, let's dive back into the show. Guys, we've been talking to Dr. Jack Wolfson. He's been called the paleo-cardiologist and the #1 natural heart doctor in the United States or possibly in the world. I don't know. I'll give you that one because I don't know, right? I don't know if you're going to say the whole world. Maybe you might not be. I don't know. That's your opinion on that one. But we've been talking about what's going on in our world and just the chaos of what the world has been like the last couple of years, what's out of our control, what's scaring a lot of us, and what's affecting our health. We've been talking about how our health has been affected in these things. In this part of the discussion, we want to talk about lifestyle. Dr. Jack shared with us that eat well, think well, live well is what we really need to get into to take control of our health, especially as men. We're pretty bad about letting our health go when we get busy with everything else. I know that's the first thing that goes is my good eating habits and my workouts. It's the first thing that goes when I get busy and I start eating junk and not working out. So, Dr. Jack, let's talk about lifestyle. Let's talk about eat well, think well, live well. How you said that, happiness with our family, with our jobs, that satisfaction plays big into it. Let's jump into sleep, diet, and exercise. What do we need to start getting right to be that bulletproof man, as you said?
Well, I think, back real quick on the food story, I think we need to focus on what to eat as opposed to what not to eat. So let's make sure we fill our bellies full of free range grass fed meats and wild seafood. Eggs and avocados and coconuts. If you do dairy, preferably raw dairy. Make sure everything's organic. So if your vice is ice cream, eat organic ice cream. If your vice is cookies or cupcakes, make it organic. Not recommending it, but I'm just saying if you do those kind of behaviors, just eat organically, and therefore you get the poison out of your diet. And the poison obviously is the poison. But we all debate the food story of what's the best way to eat, but what about the best way to live? And we forget about how important sleep is. Our ancestors went to sleep with the sun down and they woke up before the sunrise. They would watch the sunrise and then they'd spend the day in and out of the sun, and they were naked and wearing a loincloth. All plants, all animals are outside in the sun, yet the medical authorities and the talking heads on television, they tell us the sun's bad. They tell us the sun's dangerous. They tell us to cover up, to wear sunscreen. There's I saw this article that came out a couple weeks ago. It wasn't an article, it was a story about this famous gamer by the name of Ninja. Very famous gamer, like the best, at Fortnite in the world. And my boys know who Ninja is. They know who this guy is, Ninja. So they mentioned him before. And I know that he was interviewed by Ellen DeGeneres or whatever. I remember seeing a clip on that, which was pretty funny. So Ninja has melanoma on his foot. So they tell us, they say, well, get out of the sun because the sun causes melanoma, sun causes skin cancer, fear, fear, fear. They want us to be sick, so they tell us lies, tell us to cover up. If melanoma is from the sun, how does Ninja, a guy who I would imagine spends his entire life indoors on video games, how does he get melanoma on his foot, an area that's not sun exposed? So I'll just kind of use that story just to say the sun is outside of God, is the source of life. The sun creates vitamin D. It makes all of our hormones in our body function, makes all the mitochondria, all of our cells. Our skin is a solar panel. The solar panel of our skin is built to collect light, just like our eyeballs are get sun, smart sun. That's going to be the key strategy that we need to follow. But again, like those are the basics, and those are free. Those are free tips, right? So sleep, sunshine, physical activity, movement. Take care of your body. It's like if we said to someone, you only get one cell phone for the rest of your life. You only get one cell phone. You would treat the cell phone like, right? I mean, like you would barely even use it probably. Like you would touch it with gloves and you would just put this thing in all the kind of protectors. Why don't we take care of our bodies? Why don't we take care of our bodies that way? We got one body. Keep the toxins out of it. Check your house for mold. Check for water damage. Check for bacteria. See a chiropractor. Make your chiropractor your primary care provider. Take care of your teeth with a holistic dentist. That's going to be that strategy there. And then again, that concept of thinking well. And these are all super important. What are you here for? My purpose is to certainly be a man of faith, to be a husband, to be a father, to take care of the environment, to take care of my animals, and to take care of my patients and anyone that I speak to. My purpose is to be the best holistic natural cardiologist on the planet, to wake people up to the reality, to get them away from pharmaceuticals, to get them away from sickness. Now, yours may not be such a big goal as to end heart disease, your purpose. It may be any of those other things, just being a good member of society, helping a brother out, maybe again to a shoulder to cry on for a sibling or a parent. Again, all these different things that are there. So, this purpose, the gratitude, self-acceptance, being a member of the community. And community is interesting in the sense of what community are you aligned with going forward? Are you part of, Brent's tribe over here, the Fallible Man, group? Where we think differently than mainstream? What about your old friends, family members? What about them? Are they part of your life going forward? Or do you want to hang out with like-minded people going forward? Because I get that all the time. I've lost a lot of friends and a lot of family members over my beliefs that are different from them. And I say, God bless. God bless them. God bless those memories. High school stories, college stories, med school stories, childhood stories, great stories. But they're a part of the past. And if those people who were with me on those stories are not congruent with the way that I am now and my thought processes are now, then I don't really need them in my life at this point. And they feel the same way. In most cases, they don't need me in their life. And that's fine. Those are great memories. Thank you for them. And let's just move on. Because I want to, as much as I want to change the world and change people's opinions and wake people up, I don't necessarily want to hang out with the people who are swimming away from my message. So, and I think that's okay.
Dr. Jack, we're talking about lifestyle and making some choices. And you said you lost some people along with your thought process have changed and your views have changed on things. And we've all gone through that, right? And we've talked about the turmoil in the last couple of years. Any recommendations on how to keep our emotional health up with all that going on?
Well, I think that, spirituality and faith, I think always is a good fallback. It's truly not my area of expertise. I was raised in a Jewish household, not very observant to the Jewish laws, not very knowledgeable about the Old Testament and scriptures, certainly not knowledgeable about the New Testament and Christianity and the various facets of that. When I would meet my wife, we would kind of talk about being more spiritual That there's something that created us that we just didn't get here just because there was this big explosion, 14 billion years ago that created the sun and created the earth. And then this happened. And all of a sudden, here we are having this conversation, I certainly don't believe that story. So we've experimented a little bit with, I guess, kind of like Messianic Judaism, but I would say, again, just finding your faith, finding that, I think, is a good place to lean on, and then leaning on friends and family members who think like you, who are going through who are going through the same struggles, but no matter your situation, there's other people who can help you. And I think in general, people are good and they want to be able to help, and they want to be a shoulder to cry on, and they want to listen, to you and be helpful and be of service.
You have any projects coming up? What's next for Dr. Jack?
What do I got going on? Really just trying to, get the message of cardiovascular health and wellness out there. Trying to make, from a business standpoint, trying to be a better business a leader of the team, trying to be a better communicator, trying to be better at scheduling, trying to be better at meeting the needs of my staff and our patients. And, ultimately, I think if there's anything that's kind of commonality for all of us, and you can tell me otherwise, Brent, right? It's just, how do we have this work, life balance? How do we take care of ourselves? How do we take care of our family? How do we embrace our own faith? How do we balance all of that also with quote unquote work and our careers? And just knowing that we're all struggling with the same things. We're all struggling with the same things, and it doesn't appear to be getting any easier, for these struggles. But again, I think talking about these issues, nobody's got any easy answers except find solace in the fact that we're all in this together, and God has a plan for us, and those of us who I think are faith-based, but I think more so of those of us, I believe, this is my opinion, of course, those of us who are living true, living free, living as God intended, I think we're the ones who are going to be around. I think we're the ones who are going to be saved. That's my thoughts.
Dr. Jack, you have your own podcast, right? The Heart Healthy Show. Is that correct?
Yeah, the Healthy Heart Show, we're kind of on a little bit of a hiatus right now, again, but I get my message out there through blogs on the website and articles, and creating videos for YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, coming on shows like yours, so love getting the message out there. If anybody's interested in cardiovascular health, if they need, certain help, we're really with anything. My company's Natural Heart Doctor. My book is a great place to start, The Paleo-Cardiologist. Yeah, there's stuff about paleo nutrition, but it's about the paleo lifestyle. It's about eating well, living well, thinking well. That's your best strategy to survive in this crazy world.
Where's the best place for people to connect with you?
Come to the website, Natural Heart Doctor, or if you want to come to the website, you can do so there. If you want to go on to social media, do so there. If you want a free copy of my book, all you do is pay shipping. That website URL is freeheartbook.com. Pay the shipping fees. We'll send it out to you. Chuck and Jenny and Chuck's kids down in Mesa, Arizona, ship the book out to you ASAP. Great gift, for people. Sometimes these conversations are kind of hard to have, right? It's one-on-one conversations can be very confrontational, certainly in person and even virtually they can be. So sometimes the best you can do is just give someone, say, hey, here's a copy, of this book, take a look, and, I would appreciate if you read it. I would appreciate if you read this article or this blog post. Indulge me in that. Do me that one favor if you would, read this to open up people's minds and change hearts and change lives.
Guys, we'll have all of Dr. Jack's links, and he's got a lot of them. So I promise they'll be in the show notes in the description. I will make sure that you can find Dr. Jack. Now, I know you're really worried about the Harry Potter question. For all of you who actually care at this point, the answer is C, stink pellets. The one item that was not on the ban list to look for was the stink pellets. The other three were there. They were not on the, I have no idea why they weren't on the list. Who knows? I think they're mentioned once in book 6. It is a truly random trivia fact from Harry Potter. So if you guys are into Trivial Pursuit, there you go. That's one of the answers. Dr. Jack, we've covered a lot. There's a lot of big concepts. There's a lot of big ideas. If the listener heard nothing else today, if our audience heard nothing else, what is the most important thing you want our audience to hear today?
Question everything and always fight for the freedom to question everything.
Guys, for myself and Dr. Jack Wolfson, thanks for hanging out today. Thanks for listening. Be better tomorrow because of what you do today. And we'll see you on the next one.
This has been the Fallible Man Podcast, your home for everything man, husband, and father. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a show. Head over to www.thefallibleman.com for more content and get your own Fallible Man gear.